Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to the English 360 podcast, the place where learning English feels supported, simple, and full of real-life motivation. I'm Mia, and I'm so happy you're here with us today.
And I'm Alex, also super excited to be with you. Today's episode is special. More than vocabulary, more than grammar. It's about you, your journey, your progress, and your confidence.
Yes, because learning English isn't always easy. Some days you feel great, other days you feel lost. One day you understand everything, and the next day you can't remember a single word.
If that sounds familiar, trust us, you're not alone. Everyone who learns a language experiences this. It's normal. It's part of the process.
And today, we want to remind you of something important. Don't give up. Your English is getting better, even when you don't notice it.
Absolutely. Every time you listen to a podcast, watch a short video, repeat one sentence, or learn one new word, you're growing. Even on the days when you feel stuck, your brain is still learning.
So if you're feeling discouraged, if you're thinking, my English is terrible, or I'm too slow, this episode is for you. We're going to help you see your progress, celebrate your small wins, and keep moving forward with confidence.
Take a deep breath, relax, and stay with us. Today, we're lifting your motivation back up. All right, let's begin with something most English learners feel at some point. That strange moment when you think you're not improving anymore.
Yes. Listeners, have you ever felt like you study and study and study, but nothing changes? You look at a sentence and think, why do I still not understand this? Or you try to speak and suddenly your brain goes blank.
If that happens to you, don't worry. It happens to everyone, even advanced speakers, even people who have lived abroad for years. Feeling stuck doesn't mean you're not progressing. It means your brain is reorganizing what you've been learning.
Exactly. Learning a language isn't like climbing stairs. It's not step 1, step 2, step 3. It's more like waves. Some days you rise quickly, other days you stay still, and sometimes you even feel like you're moving backward.
But here's the secret. Every single time you expose yourself to English, you're building understanding beneath the surface, even when you don't see the results yet. Think of it like planting seeds. You don't see the plant growing right away, but something is happening underground.
I love that example. It's true. A lot of learners think progress is visible only when they speak or when they get a perfect test score. But real improvement also happens quietly in your listening, in your memory, in the way your brain recognizes patterns.
And sometimes the moment you feel stuck is actually the moment right before a breakthrough. It's like your brain says, hold on, I need a second. Let me organize this.
Yes, I remember learning Spanish years ago. There was a week when I felt like I had forgotten everything. I couldn't form a sentence, I couldn't understand anything. I felt frustrated and almost gave up.
I've been there too.
But then, boom, a few days later, everything suddenly made sense. It felt easier. I didn't magically become fluent, but something inside clicked.
And that moment is waiting for everyone listening. You may not feel it yet, but it's coming.
So, if you feel stuck, remember this. That feeling is not a sign of failure. It's a sign you're learning at a deeper level. And if you keep going, even slowly, improvement is guaranteed.
So, breathe. Smile a bit. Be patient with yourself. You're doing a lot better than you think.
And in the next block, we're going to talk about how hidden progress works and how to actually see the improvements you've made.
Stay with us. You're on the right path.
So, now let's talk about something fascinating: the progress you don't notice. Because honestly, most improvement happens silently.
It's true. People usually think progress is only when you speak fluently, understand every word, or remember every rule. But that's just the visible part of learning. There's a whole world of invisible progress happening inside your mind.
Let me ask our listeners something. Have you ever listened to an English video a second time and thought, this feels easier now? You didn't study it again. You didn't memorize anything. Yet suddenly, it makes more sense.
That's invisible progress. Your brain keeps working even when you're not studying. It organizes, connects patterns, chooses what to keep, and simplifies what you already learned.
I like to call it silent learning. It's what happens when you listen while washing dishes, when you read a sentence quickly, or when you watch a movie with subtitles. You think it's nothing, but your brain is absorbing everything.
And there's another form of invisible progress: tolerance for English. At the beginning, everything feels fast and confusing. But as time passes, even if you feel stuck, you slowly get used to the sound of English.
That's such an important point, because feeling more comfortable with the language is a huge indicator of progress. Even if you still make mistakes or forget words, your brain becomes less scared of English.
Yes, and comfort leads to confidence. Confidence leads to clarity, and clarity leads to speaking naturally.
Another thing learners often ignore is passive understanding. For example, maybe you can't say the word responsibility easily, but you understand it when someone else says it. That's progress.
Exactly. Or you can't explain the grammar behind "I've been learning," but you recognize it and know what it means. That's progress too.
But because you don't see these improvements, you think you're not getting better.
That's why it's important to track small victories. You can write them down or even just notice them. Things like, yesterday I understood a joke in English, or today I spoke with less fear.
Right. And here's something powerful. The moment you appreciate your small wins, your motivation grows. Learning becomes lighter, your brain relaxes, and suddenly English becomes less of a battle and more of a companion.
I love that. And I think every listener needs to hear this. If you compare yourself only to your biggest goals, you'll feel like you're failing. But if you compare yourself to where you were 3 months ago, you'll clearly see how far you've come.
Absolutely. Your progress is real, even when you can't see it. And in the next block, we're going to share strategies to stay motivated even on difficult days.
Because motivation isn't magic, it's a habit you can train.
All right, now let's focus on motivation. Because let's be honest, some days motivation disappears completely.
Yes, and people assume motivation is something magical. something that appears when the conditions are perfect. But real motivation is more like a muscle. The more you train it, the stronger it gets.
Exactly. So let's talk about ways to train that motivation. One of my favorite strategies is using micro goals. Not, I will be fluent in 1 year, but I will listen to English for 5 minutes today.
5 minutes sounds small, but it's powerful. Because once you start, your brain thinks, well, I'm already here. Maybe I'll stay longer. It removes the pressure.
Yes, and pressure is what destroys motivation. When learners say, I must study for 2 hours every day, it becomes impossible to maintain. But when the goal is tiny and flexible, you can't fail.
Another great strategy is creating your own English environment. Surround yourself with the language in small, natural ways. Change your phone language. Follow English creators. Or listen to music in English while cooking.
The key is consistency, not intensity. It's much better to practice 10 minutes every day than 2 hours once a week.
Definitely. And speaking of music, I think songs are one of the greatest motivation tools ever. They're emotional, memorable, and fun. A song can teach you vocabulary, pronunciation, and even rhythm.
Yes, and because music triggers emotion, it helps you remember words without trying. You simply enjoy the moment, and learning happens naturally.
Another tip for staying motivated is finding a learning activity that matches your personality. Some people love watching short videos. Others prefer podcasts. Others love reading. The trick is to stop forcing methods you hate.
Right. If you hate grammar drills, don't torture yourself. If textbooks bore you, try stories or TV shows. Motivation grows when learning feels like something you enjoy, not a punishment.
And this one is important. Celebrate your effort, not just your results. If you listen to English today, even for a few minutes, that counts. If you try to say one new sentence, that counts.
I agree. And here's something learners rarely do: talk kindly to themselves. Instead of saying, I'm terrible at English, try saying, I'm learning, I'm improving, I'm showing up.
Yes, your brain believes the things you repeat. If you constantly say you're bad at English, your brain will feel discouraged. But if you tell yourself you're growing, your brain opens, relaxes, and learns faster.
And the final motivation tip for this block: don't compare yourself to other people. Compare yourself only to your past self.
Because your journey is unique. Your life, your schedule, your strengths, all different. Focus on your own path, and you'll stay motivated much longer.
And in the next block, we'll talk about how to turn all of this into a lifestyle so English becomes part of your day naturally.
All right, everyone. Now, let's talk about the part that changes everything, turning English into a natural part of your day, not a chore, not a stressful task, just something that fits into your life smoothly.
Yes, because real progress happens when English stops being something you force yourself to do and becomes something you simply do, like brushing your teeth or checking your messages.
Exactly. And one of the easiest ways to build that habit is to attach English to something you already do every day. For example, Listen to a podcast while you wash the dishes. Or watch a short English video while you drink your morning coffee.
That's called habit stacking. You stack a new habit, English, on top of an existing routine you already have. It makes learning automatic.
Another great idea is to create English zones in your life. For example, your kitchen can be your vocabulary zone. Label objects you use every day, like fridge, plate, spoon, pan. That way you learn without forcing anything.
Or create a listening zone, like every time you're on the bus, waiting in line, or walking your dog. That's your listening zone. No pressure, just a natural moment for input.
And here's something that surprises people. You don't need long sessions to build a powerful habit. 10 minutes every day beats 1 hour once a week.
Yes, the brain loves repetition. Short, consistent exposure works like magic.
Another tip is to make English social. Share the phrases you learn with someone. Send a voice message in English to a friend, or comment in English on your favorite video. Using English with real people makes everything more real.
And you don't even need an English speaker to practice. You can practice with someone who is also learning. You both grow at the same time.
True. And if you're shy, you can practice out loud alone. Talk to yourself while cooking. I'm cutting the onions. Now I'm adding salt. It may feel silly at first, but it trains fluency.
Absolutely. And here's a fun idea. Create your own English playlists. Not music playlists, but learning playlists. For example, 5 videos that make me laugh in English. Or 10 short clips with useful phrases. Every time you're bored, press play.
Yes, the easier it is to access English, the more you'll use it. Remove obstacles and make learning convenient.
And don't forget rewards. Reward yourself for consistency. Not dramatic rewards, simple ones. A dessert, a break, watching your favorite show. Your brain learns faster when it associates English with pleasure, not pressure.
That's so important. And here's one last habit-building trick. Track your progress. You can use a journal, a calendar, or even an app. Every time you practice, mark it. A visual record helps your brain stay motivated.
Yes, because when you look back and see 10 days of English in a row, you don't want to break the streak.
Exactly. Those small wins add up and create momentum.
And now that we've covered motivation and habits, we're ready to wrap everything up with a powerful recap that reminds you you're doing better than you think.
And here's something important to remember. Progress is not always loud. Sometimes it's quiet. Sometimes it's invisible. But it's still happening.
Maybe today you understood a sentence you couldn't understand last week. Maybe you remembered a new word without checking your notes. Maybe you pronounced something a little more clearly.
These are victories. Small victories, but real victories.
And when you add them together, day after day, something powerful happens. You transform.
So keep showing up. Keep listening. Keep speaking, even if your voice shakes. Keep practicing, even when you feel tired. Because every effort you make becomes part of your progress.
And remember this truth. You don't need to be perfect. You only need to be consistent.
Your English is getting better. Maybe slowly, maybe quietly, but definitely, surely, absolutely.
So don't give up. You're doing great. And your future self will thank you for not quitting today.
Keep going. Even small steps count.
And remember, every day you practice, you get better.
We're proud of you.
And we'll see you in the next episode of English 360 Podcast.
Have a great day and keep learning.